The following podcast may be explicit. One Joe Young presents Adventures from the Shed, a tabletop RPG podcast. You can find us online at adventuresfromtheshed.com. Kurt, Chris, Bridget, Joe, and special guest Mike are looking to wrap up this adventure within the campaign of A New Frontier. Will they be able to foil the curse in time? The paladin is rapidly aging, and their time is running out. Enjoy the podcast.
Hi, and welcome to The Shed for Adventures from the Shed. You can find us online at adventuresfromtheshed.com. Search us out on the internets. We're on the Googleses. You can Bing us. And, there's also the whole Facebooking thing.
What about your Yoo-Hoo?
And Yoo-Hoo, you can find us on Yoo-Hoo as well as the delicious chocolatey drink and a way to find Adventures from the Shed.
To learn how to put Dungeoneers on the Yoo-Hoo.
There you go.
Yeah, we're not smart.
My wife says I'm not allowed to Bing other people, just so you know.
You can Google them, just don't Bing it.
And here
Don't
we
bang it.
are, back continuing our A New Frontier campaign in our world of Paradisi, and this is a thanks to our guest for having put that map together for us years ago.
Yeah. I still need to
there
see
you go.
that map, by the way.
Yeah.
We do. And
I feel like it should be around here right now.
and we're going to go around the table and say hi. We'll start with this guy right here.
This is Chris. I'm playing Uriel the Emulator. And remember, 5-star reviews so Kurt can get some.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
I also support Kurt getting some. This is Mike playing Laramie Burnsteel. He is the paladin of Josiah. And
Go, Joe.
go Joe.
There you go.
In my defense, I can get some without a 5-star review, but I'll get more and better if you leave a 5-star review. Yeah. This is Kurt, and I am playing Breton, a ranger, a human ranger.
And this is Lenore the cleric, who's not sure what anybody's getting, but
Definitely no Ottomans.
definitely not Ottomans. I play
there
the
you
cleric.
go.
That's
And
it.
I am Joe. I am the game master as we continue this Dungeon World campaign, A New Frontier. Kurt was mentioning in between recordings here that he had some notes, so we're going to go to Kurt for a quick recap of our last session.
Yeah, I had some really detailed notes from this one. If I actually read them, they would be humorous because they say things like crossed magical chasm, entered magical cave, seems really old and in disrepair. Gerald should be pleased, and a wizard's cave with lots of illusions. But that's a long way of saying that we continued our journey with Laramie Burnsteel, who is a paladin of Josiah and is aging very rapidly due to a curse that was placed on him when he entered a wizard's workshop, I guess, if you will. So we're trying to help him out by moving to that workshop, and after a session ago defeating a number of zombies, and now finding our way Indiana Jones style across this chasm with the kind of the disguised balance beam. We entered the cave. There was a fork, a trident of paths, if you will, three paths. We took the left path and ultimately ended up in the workshop where we found a magical closet in the sense that...
Well, the closet was in his bedroom.
Or in his bedroom before we got to the workshop. But anytime we took an article, he took an article of clothing from it, it was instantly replaced. So after discovering the workshop and trying to figure out how to move forward, 3 of the 4 of us decided to essentially take a magical cape. It was this kind of, if I remember correctly, like
His cloak.
dark...
His wizard's cloak.
Yeah, it's a dark blue, almost black wizard's cloak. And so Lenore, Laramie, and Uriel have put on wizard's cloaks. Breton has not, just because he's a little bit afraid that if the cloak decides to kill them all at once, it might be good to have one person standing alive.
And not wearing the clothes.
Yeah.
And I have a wand.
Yeah.
Basically, we're all dressed as cultists, so it's cool.
Yes. Yeah. So
Not a cult.
Well, you're dressed as one.
Not a
not a cult. Not a cult.
It's not a cult. So here we are at that point where the 3, Lenore, Uriel, and Laramie, dressed in the wizard's clothing, have walked back into the workshop. Now, after spending a few moments in the workshop, about the same amount of time you spent last time before the light came out in the ceiling, the light comes on, but it doesn't shine on any of you. The face comes out of the ceiling, looks around, and then goes back up into the ceiling, and the light goes out.
Free passage through the workshop.
I mean, I guess now that we have more time, I'd like to search a little bit more. I mean, almost like I was doing before with maybe not picking things up, but definitely looking at things.
Okay. So spend some more time. This will be time to roll a discern realities for those in the room. Now,
All right.
at the doorway, you can still shout things in if you
Well,
want.
and not to interrupt the moment, but can I just ask one question?
Another one after that?
And another one after
Okay,
that.
go for it.
So in my recap, I didn't mention kind of the lichy, skeleton-y wizard figure that we've actually seen, but was it him that said that he was really close to completing this legendary weapon and that Gerald would be pleased?
I'm trying to stitch together it's the same person. The skeletal figure that invited you to dinner,
Right.
the face that came out of the ceiling, and the person who wrote in that journal, all the same person.
Oh, but was that in the journal that we read that?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
It was.
Last page of the journal.
Gotcha.
I rolled a 9 for discerning those realities.
All right,
8.
then. Let's have a question in this area.
I'm looking for something useful and valuable to me, so that is what I'm looking for. So what here is useful or valuable?
While you're looking around, one of the scrawls on the wall catches your eye, and the title of this list of instructions and ingredients, essentially a wizard's recipe, the title of it is Rapid Aging. And then it has a list of things underneath it.
Well, that might be helpful to you.
Guys, right here, right here. I need, please, Lenore, can you figure this
we
out?
don't want to rapidly age you. Let's look for one
Well,
that's
just do it from the bottom up.
similar. Well, let's look for one
do it in
that's similar
reverse.
to reverse.
I mean, do you know how it works? Maybe you can just like say it backwards or something.
So there is, in this list, there are several different things. Pieces of petrified wood, an ancient writing. Then there are several incantations underneath in a language you don't understand. But maybe it's really just something you say at the right levels and tones, and it may not actually be a language because wizards just make noises too, right? So
Well, I'm not a wizard, but
that recipe that's on the wall, it looks like you would have to go find things to complete the recipe. But it looks like something that it says, the end result is target will age rapidly for several days before dying.
what about...
What if we did the reverse of
The
that?
opposite?
Like instead
we don't
of
want you to
petrified
keep
wood,
getting
they
younger.
had new wood.
I got new wood.
But we don't want you to get younger.
I mean, I want to get younger.
Well, we don't want to curse you with that and you end up as a baby.
just like
that-
Turn
that,
into a speck of dust.
that old Bella Benjamin
That
Button.
could be a fun remaining 50 minutes.
Are there any of those scrolls here?
Scrolls?
Can we
Scrolls,
scrolls?
right.
There are
Scrolls.
no scrawls, things on the wall.
Oh, you said scrawled? It was
Yeah,
scrawled?
it was written on the wall.
Oh, okay. I thought
Not
it was
scroll.
Just say there is nothing.
Me too.
There is nothing written on paper, parchment, books, or anything in this room. Everything appears to be written on a wall somewhere.
All right, so we just maybe need to see if he more stuff on the wall someplace.
I mean,
Yeah.
can I copy that down? Like,
Oh,
is
yeah.
there paper in here that I could do?
Well,
Well, we have the journal.
Anything you're carrying, or the journal, anything it can be written.
All right. Yeah, I want to at least copy that down
Are you going to
before
use the journal?
searching some
Yeah,
more.
I'll let you.
All right.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna search around and see if there's a way to stop.
Okay. So when you open the journal to the first empty page, as soon as the journal is open to the empty page, a quill that you didn't see on the wall flies over and is poised right above the first empty line, like it's waiting for something.
Hello, Quill. If you could,
And it writes exactly what you're saying.
If
as
you could-
say it.
Oh,
copy that right there.
And so it says, "Hello, Quill." If you could copy that right there.
Okay. I guess that's not how it works.
That's not how it works.
All right, and then I would just like keep saying these,
Recite
like
what's on there?
what's on the wall.
And then it writes exactly what you say.
Now, when I say like there was parts that weren't
different
like
language.
English.
Yeah.
If I say it enough that the quill can follow it,
Yeah.
do I then understand it saying it out loud, or
Not really, no.
Okay.
It's like seeing. I'll equate it to something like seeing Chinese, and you can describe what the symbol looks like, but you have no idea what that word meant. Even if you could describe it well enough for somebody else to write it, You still don't know what that symbol means. In
Okay.
this case, it's letters you can recognize, but it's like something written phonetically rather than the actual word. And it's probably just an incantation that has to be said a certain way. So there's emphasis over certain letters and letters in capital and lowercase that maybe you say this louder than that. And maybe some kind of chant incantation type of thing.
Okay.
But whatever you say, it's almost like the quill can see what you're looking at because it's written exactly as what you're seeing. But it doesn't move until you talk.
Yeah, I would copy the whole thing down and then...
And as
Sort of
as
just
it's
try to-
finishing up, you realize the writing is not your writing. It's the same writing as the last entry in the Wizard's Journal. So,
But yeah, after I have it all copied down, I would sort of be looking at it and maybe trying to figure out, like, maybe there's a code or a way to, like, translate what those words that don't make sense. Like, maybe if something gets moved around, like, that it would make sense to me.
you want to make it an undo kind of thing? Or?
Yeah, or at least just like a starting point that I would
Okay.
know what it said, and then maybe know a reverse on that.
All right. So you'll take some time doing that while others are.
I'm looking for something that looks like the opposite.
Looking at what's on the wall that is actually readable enough from where you are, there's nothing that... It doesn't look like anything that's written has a way to counter it. Like, maybe that's just natural for a wizard to be able to counter a spell they did. Because, well, it kind of is.
I'd just be searching the room for anything that looks
Well, are
valuable.
you going in? Because you weren't dressed for the occasion. And I need to know if you're
Yes,
going in.
I would be going in because I would not realize that I shouldn't be. although
After
it
you
sounds
spend
like
a few
that.
seconds in there, the light comes on.
Uh-huh.
The face comes out and stares at you and says, "You are not meant to be here. Leave."
Go put a robe on.
I go backtracking like Bugs Bunny.
And when that happens, of course, everyone else notices it, but just like previously, the light doesn't shine on you, only on Breton. And I guess Cloud as well.
Right.
And then when he steps out, the face goes back up into the ceiling, the light goes out.
So at that point, I would probably go put on one of the robes
Yeah.
and try to enter the room.
And you probably want Cloud to sit outside.
Yes.
Now, sitting
I mean, you could
outside...
put a cloak on the dog.
Sit, Ubu, sit.
Yeah, the sitting outside is really just sitting in the archway to the room,
Right.
not like Cloud is out of sight completely, just
Right.
not in the area that's going to set off the sentry.
Right.
Okay, so now within the room, Lenore, you don't see anything on the wall that says, here's how to turn off the signs of rapid aging, or here's how to turn off rapid aging. There's nothing like that. It seems like every spell is a way to do something. Nothing is a way to undo something. So here's how to create a deadly thick fog, but there's nothing nearby that says how to dissipate a fog. All right.
I'm going
Stuff like
to
that.
take the wand and I'm going to touch him and
Okay.
see if anything happens.
Your arm feels cold because it's metal, but aside from that, no. Nothing special there. So Breton's gone into the room now with a cloak on.
Right. So I was actually just looking around for valuables,
Okay.
like potions, money, any artifacts that look strange that might be on the tables.
The
or
only thing that's
workbenches.
valuable as far as gold pieces are concerned are material components that haven't yet been used. So yeah, there are a couple actual pieces of gold, a couple actual pieces of steel, metal, in different shapes and sizes, not like a round gold piece with a stamp on it,
Right.
but an actual piece of
Right,
gold.
right. But I don't see any tomes or artifacts.
In
or
this
anything.
room, it seems like the only thing that has anything written on it are the walls.
The walls.
Artifact type of things, maybe, with nothing you immediately recognize as a definitive artifact. But you might also not be familiar with stuff well over 200 years old, because it would have been old before he even brought it into this room, which has been a couple hundred years now. Uriel, anything you're more interested in seeing, doing, touching?
Not in this room.
No? All right. So you're just kind of keeping an eye out for
Yeah,
what
keep an
everyone
eye
else
out
is
just in
doing?
case anything pops out.
In the ingredients that are in here, is there enough to do that spell?
No, it's missing some of the biggest thing I mentioned, like petrified wood, is not in the room. But it relies on old things. Now, Granted, any of the material components sitting around would definitely be an old thing now, some form of relic, because it's over 200 years old, anything sitting in the room. But you don't have all of the components to do the aging spell in the room.
Uriel, were you wanting to go check something in particular?
I want to check out that cold spot in the pantry that might lead somewhere.
Is there any notes as far there's a bunch of spells in here?
Yep.
Is there any that talk about cold that we would maybe be tipped off before we go search this thing? Maybe that's a spell,
or is it
that'll
opening a
freeze
portal?
us?
Okay. So this takes, because of how big the room is, this room, we call it like a 20-foot circle, all the way left, right, diameter. Is that diameter? When you measure from side to side.
Yes, that's
All
diameter.
right.
What's the radius? Is it
Circumference.
All right. What's radius?
Half of
diameter.
Ah, see,
From the center out.
I suck at algebra.
The volume is radius times pi.
There are several pies in the room.
Pi r squared.
No, I'm
Eat it.
kidding. Pi r squared. It is pies r squared. Grammar, dude.
Silly.
Anyway, it takes some time because if you can imagine,
Plus, it's on the ceiling almost.
20
too.
feet, right?
Yeah.
It goes from floor to ceiling. There's something written everywhere. Now you could probably guess, and if you can't, I'll just flat out tell you, everything was written by this magical quill. So whenever the wizard wanted something written, he summoned his quill, and it just went and wrote it on the wall. So every spot on the wall where a magical feather could reach, it did. So there's stuff all over. So it takes quite some time to figure it out, but you guys are in no immediate danger of the bad stuff. So probably within a half an hour or so, Uriel stumbles upon this writing that says, the end of it, you realize, says, and we will result in lingering cold. And it has a couple of notes in parentheses like spine tingling and weird sensation. And that, you realize that's at the bottom. You read up to the top, and it says at the top, portal, question mark. Then within it are just some oddball things you don't quite recognize. Things like, Eye of Newt.
Right.
Weird things that you don't know where the wizard may or may have not have gotten these things. And then again, some kind of incantation written out phonetically.
Right.
But it looks like portal, question mark. And then at the end are the things that you felt when you got to those cold spots.
Right.
Now we, in doing that, read a lot of it. Does
Oh,
it
yeah.
seem like the wizard lost it at some point? It was sort of normal, and then got to a point, and he gets sort of
It
not
would be
himself.
difficult to determine that exactly, but there are definitely notes that are more rushed than others. Like a eureka moment, maybe. And he summoned the quill and was like, gotta get this written down really fast. So it got written down fast. But
Yes.
nothing seems like, one day here's how to grow a sunflower, and the next day, here's how to commit genocide. It's
Yeah.
not...
It's
Maybe
not.
he's just
It doesn't
level-
start sunflower
Yeah.
at the bottom and then gets genocide at the top.
Not really, no.
All right.
It really just looks like...
Does he have dates on any of these scrawlings? Scrawlings.
No. I mean, you might be able to interpret some being older than others just by the strength of them, or maybe he was researching weaker things towards the end, who knows? But
Can I open up the journal and say, find
Yeah.
portal? And see if it flips to a page with the word portal on
when
it?
you open up the journal and talk, nothing happens. If you open up the journal to an empty page, the quill goes to the empty page.
So
And
I want
then
to
it
see if
writes
there's any
exactly what you
I
said.
want to see if there's any correlation to maybe something he was working on and then he talked about it in the book to see I was able to open up a portal in the pantry and it goes here.
Well, while some of us are getting steadily older than others, you can
Yeah.
still flip through the
yes,
book.
I will do that.
And who else is going to do what?
I mean, I think I would probably have been just searching for ingredients and stuff.
Okay.
Something like, even if there's not petrified wood, something that like new wood that maybe would be like the reverse of those things that.
So this is the kind of scene where I'm picturing it as it's looking at the camera's focused on Uriel finding this spot on the wall, and he's reading through it, pointing his finger at it.
It's a montage scene for sure.
Exactly.
Call it a montage.
The camera kind of loses focus and comes back into focus while Laramie's rifling through stuff on the desk, trying to find pieces for stuff. And that's the kind of scene we're in. So what else?
I'm gonna look at the wand and see if there's some way to get any more clues off of it, because a wizard would probably want his wand or staff, or probably a wand if he's doing magical
So
incantations
while you're
and
studying
such.
the wand, and I imagine this is going to happen more than once, somebody looking at scrolls, the writing on the wall, might just read something phonetically out loud. Anytime that happens, there's a small hum in the wand as if power is in there. And you can feel it. A hum might not be the right word. Slight vibrations. Like there's something being channeled into that
What if I
wand.
do something like cast light on it and see if just adding my magic to the wand makes
Cast
it
light.
do something? Okay.
That's a spell.
Ah.
You have to cast a spell. Let's see what happens.
6, 7, 8, 9.
Okay. When you cast light, your light spell goes towards it. No, so what does it look like normally? Does the light leave your hand and then embed in the object, or do you touch it? Or
I put my hand over it and it
Okay.
kind of starts a glow.
So when you do that, the light seems to not stick to the wand. It kind of hovers around it, like it's resistant to your magic. And after a few moments, the light goes out.
Okay. Was just the thought.
And pick one of those 7 to 9 things.
How old is Laramie while this is going on?
If he looked 50-something when you met him this morning, he looks nearly 60 now.
I'll forget it for now.
All right, you're going to forget light. Okay.
You're going to be retiring soon, buddy.
Breton, while this stuff is going on, your little spot in the cameo. In the
I mean, Brett feels a little out of place here since he's not
It's a
much of a
montage.
magic user. He's just kind of keeping an eye on things, looking around,
Okay.
available to help anyone who needs help. But
Okay. Then after maybe 2 hours of just searching this room freely, you're at this point now of like, there's just so much to digest. Maybe there's another clue somewhere else here. Where
All
do
right.
you want to go next?
I think we should check out that harpsichord. Why is it missing 16 keys?
Well, because Mike said it.
I mean, we could still
Did
look.
you steal those keys, Laramie?
I didn't steal.
Every time
Are
he
they made out
walks,
of,
you hear
ivory?
clang, 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 clang.
I mean, I don't need harpsichord keys, but we can go look at it.
I don't need them. I just collect them.
We're going back towards the pantry kitchen.
Are you?
Ish, right? That's where we were.
All right,
Yeah.
somebody
Sort
just
of
made
going?
a decision. Go,
Okay.
Yes, you're heading
Sounds good.
towards the gallery.
You said there was 2 places where there was cold. There was in the pantry. There was the cold coming from.
in the
Underneath the cot.
cabinet. One
the
in
cabinet
the cabinet,
and
the
one
overhead
in the-
cabinet, and then one underneath the cot.
I'm gonna go over to the cabinet, and I'm going to poke the wand into
I'll
the
go over to the cot and see if
the
the wand comes out.
cold. Okay. I'm gonna put.
But I
the-
squat down like, no, I'm just kidding.
to receive it.
I'll make sure I use the pointy end.
Make sure you use some of those incantations so it vibrates.
I'm gonna stick it into
it's a
the
rare sexual innuendo with Brett is not involved.
the portal and
Okay.
see if anything happens to the wand, if it vibrates or.
When you put the golden ball end of the wand
Yeah.
in there, as soon as it passes the plane, that part disappears and the rest of the wand gets warmer in your hand. It's going into cold, disappearing, but the rest of the wand, the metal feels warm. Warmer as in, like, not burning you, but like holding a nice warm cup of coffee warm.
That's odd. I don't know what else to do about that.
I think we need to. So the one in the.
And no, it doesn't come out from under the bed.
So the or the cupboard,
cupboard?
I guess
Yeah.
the cupboard
I
one
found
is
really
it's very
cabinet,
small.
yeah.
Can we find like an edge, like it's very small hole?
It's
Where's the
like
dissipation?
it's like the regular size of a cabinet you have over the counter. That
Yeah,
holds
but like
glass.
where does this plane exist where it
Oh,
crosses?
it's right at the doorway. As
Can I
soon as
put my
you
hand
open the
in
door,
it?
You
Okay.
realize it was empty and you feel coldness.
Okay,
coming
gotcha.
from
Because
it.
I was just poking the wand in to
Yep.
see. Can I put my hand in it now?
You can.
That's what
Right.
I was
I'm gonna
do.
just
So the
very
tips-
carefully.
The tips of your fingers as they pass through, you feel like on the other side they're in like a warm jello or something. Pudding. Pudding is probably a better way to put it. It's nastier, but it's more like what it is. There's a thick substance on the other side.
Okay, I'm done with that.
Maybe.
When you pull your hand out, there's nothing on your hand, and it just feels
just a
normal
weird-
again.
Maybe the
Christina.
person that's not affected by heat and stuff
Yeah, I'm gonna go
could
to the
maybe
bench.
stick his face in there or something. I'm just spitballing here, but
I'm gonna say
you could.
to Uriel, it's like warm pudding.
I love pudding. Can I go over to the pantry one though? Because it's a little
You
bit
should
bigger,
check
right?
out the pantry.
The one under the bed.
You can just
Yeah, yeah.
dive
Yeah.
through.
I mean,
Have
figure
on that.
6 foot long bed, 3 feet wide kind of thing. It's just a cot. So yeah, you could actually
Nothing
lay
bad
down in that
happened.
spot if you wanted.
All right, tie a rope to me just in case you got to pull.
Just
All
me.
right,
kinda
I'll
gross.
tie a rope to him.
You got. You
Get
might want
a
to help
rope.
him out. I don't think.
Yeah, you might
I'm a
want
pretty
to
big guy. He can't. Oh,
Yeah.
he can pull me out.
Just hold on.
Okay.
I hug Laramie by the waist. Give him a close
So
snuggle from
There's
behind.
a rope to Uriel
Yeah.
that Laramie's holding, and Bretton's holding onto Laramie.
And
Wow.
I'm just
You should be holding
watching
the
from
rope,
the other
probably.
side of the room.
Yeah, no, I'm actually, I'm grabbing the rope, helping Laramie,
Okay.
like tug of war style.
I'm by the warm pudding.
So
Throw a tennis ball in it. See what happens.
it is cold. When you approach it, what do you do first? Is it like foot first? Are you gonna
Yeah, I'm
walk?
kind of just
Try
gonna
to
like
walk in?
getting into a pool.
Okay.
Yeah, just lowering myself in slowly.
It feels like you stepped into weightlessness, but something's still holding you, and it feels like there are. You move your foot a little, and there's a ledge, and a
Like
little more,
steps?
and there's another ledge, and
Right.
it feels like steps going down, but you can't feel your foot touching anything. So, but there's an edge there.
But I feel the edge. Oh,
Yeah,
it's weird.
it's like there's no weight, right? It's
yeah.
like you're weightless. When you make your way in, it is not an uncomfortable feeling. It's like you've seen these fake skydiving things, the whole wind tunnel thing that just blows you up. Probably like that without the wind is how you might be feeling. And when you step in to the point where your head passes that surface, and everyone watching from the outside, he's disappearing as he's walking, like an old green screen effect or something. He's disappearing from the feet up, and right at the top, I can't remember. Is he bald?
No, he's got the long
He has the
reddish
red,
hair, like
red
fiery
hair.
hair. Yeah.
So right at the top, there's that little one last wisp of red hair that just falls down into the nothingness, and from in there, from where Uriel is now, when you look, it's like you're looking at an overhead view of the whole wizard's lair, and you can see everything as if there's no walls or anything. You see every room. You can see them down there, like, and they look like 1-inch D&D figures down there. You're looking at like this overhead map of the whole area.
Can you hear us?
Yes, but it sounds like they're way down there.
Can I reach out and grab them? Or touch them?
Nothing happens when you do, but your hand is there.
So he's got like an isometric, like a,
Yeah,
he's viewing from the
he's
top
looking-
like an old video game.
It's like if we had the map drawn on the table.
With the
it's
figures.
Chris looking
Yeah.
down on it.
All right.
And the map is fully drawn. You see every detail.
Is there anything
he's all
I
right?
see here that we haven't
He can
seen?
hear
You
you.
heard them.
If we
Did
pull,
you
will he
have any
come back
response?
through?
Yeah,
I mean,
I
I
can
don't
hear
know.
you.
Are you okay?
So when Lenore said, "Can you hear us?" You heard her as if they were two little tiny figures down there, like, I don't know, however far that would be, a couple 100 feet. When he says, "Yes, I can hear you," it seems like it comes from the walls around you. It's like the walls are speaking. And it's in his voice.
Whoa, that's weird.
Which is a nice, high-pitched tone.
I can hear you.
But like the whole place feels like it rumbles when he talks back. And it's even more pervasive than the wizard who stuck his head out of the ceiling.
Whoa.
So, when I'm looking at this view now, is there something I see on this view that we haven't seen in the physical workshop area?
No.
Something that's hidden, but I can see it here.
It occurs to you while you think about that everything you're viewing looks fresher, newer, like you're looking at it 200 years ago maybe. Like before things fell into disrepair and dust, and it looks like you're looking at the way it was before the wizard died. Or
How does
last,
he look in here? Does he still look old when I look at him down
They
there?
look
Is
the
he
same.
Are you going to come out?
Uriel,
Or are you
this
gonna
is
go-
this is Laramie, the paladin of Josiah.
Go Jim.
He's got-
Go
Joe.
towards the dark.
Is the place that you're in full of warm pudding?
Are you in a pudding hole?
Are you in a pudding hole?
Uriel, are you in the good place or the bad place?
I see dead people. No. It doesn't feel like pudding to me, though. It feels more weightlessness, right? I don't have that resistance
Right.
of pudding.
You're you now
Of figures.
understand the
He gets the
weightlessness
nice
as-
place. I get
Doesn't
the
feel
pudding
like
hole.
pudding to me.
You kind of stepped
Pudding
into
hole? Really? That's where you went? Pudding hole.
you stepped into a viewing room essentially.
Oh,
but
yeah.
you're looking at it as if from above.
But we
'cause
don't
you
know
are
that.
literally. So it's not that's where that feeling of weightlessness came from. You're in a spot where you're looking at some place that's not really where you are. You're still wherever you walked to, but you're in this place now where you can see things that you shouldn't be able to see.
Are you dead?
A wizard
Describe
did it.
what you're looking at.
I'm looking at the whole.
Careful, it's loud.
I'm looking,
Yeah.
I'm
And
looking
yeah,
at
it's
the
like
wizard's, mountain hideaway. I can see everything, but it looks as it would have looked 200 years ago. Everything's fresh and no dust. And
Sounds
the
nice.
the paintings look, immaculate, like
Yeah,
they were just painted.
everything's- It's much brighter as well. It's lit. That's an interesting point. It's lit, and because the only light you guys have had is the light you brought with you. But this place is fully lit.
Now you can see the workshop, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, if can you put your face into the workshop so that it maybe comes out the ceiling? Like, is the wizard in this place and he's just sticking his face through it?
I'm the only one in here right now. I can see you guys in the pantry.
Well, what am I doing now?
You're waving.
Oh, okay, I believe you.
Yes, it's all true.
Can I get closer to that? Can I go further down?
It's like you can hover yourself where you
Okay.
want.
It's like an astral projection.
Yeah,
Right, I'm
exactly.
going back into the workshop to see if his face comes out of the ceiling.
Is that what you're going to try?
I'm going to
do?
go try to get to the workshop, yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to
Alright.
see it, too, if I can see something like, are the writings the same?
Yeah. So when you stick your face in, you see his face.
Hey!
There's no light preceding it, but his face comes out of the ceiling.
Well, that's cool.
And
How's it
It's not
going
covered
up
with
there?
pudding.
I mean,
it's not covered with pudding.
are you sure that there's not a wizard in there?
I look around to see if there's anybody here
No,
with me.
it's you're in your own space. No matter
Right.
where you move, there's nothing around you. You're just
Right.
looking into this space.
Gotcha.
Like you are the camera, if you will.
Yeah.
There's nothing outside of you. You're just there, looking at everything else.
There must be some reason that you can be up there in this special place.
Because he walked
Yeah.
through there.
Yeah,
so
but
far that's the
the
reason.
portal is there for a
But
reason.
with
Yeah, but I don't understand. Like, what would he
so
have
with
used
that,
this for?
there was a question of did the place look different to the workshop? Before you stuck your head in, the workshop was working. There's bubbles in these beakers. There's little bits of smoke coming out of this
Is the
thing.
quill writing?
The quill is actually writing on one of the walls. When you stick your head through, you see it as it is now.
Gotcha.
I wonder if you could talk to the quill in your special place and have it write something. Like, can you affect the room from where you are? And if so, can you write the reverse aging spell?
Yeah, but if it says what I'm actually saying, then I don't know the reverse aging spell.
That's
But okay,
true.
I will try to, quill write my name on the wall.
Well,
Does it write it-
because of what it literally does?
But does it write
writes
it-
My name.
MYNAME.
Right.
Yeah.
But does it do that in real time? Or does it do it in this 200-year-old past
It
view?
depends. Is your head through the wall or behind the wall?
Behind the wall.
Then it does it in. a
Or does it
place that
ignore
only
it?
You can see it.
Okay. But now, is it there now? Does it exist where I told
No.
it to write it? Okay. It's almost like a...
now that you can see the whole thing, can you see anything that might help us? Like maybe there's a room that we don't know about.
That's what I was looking for originally, looking
Can
for
you
a
see-
hidden...
No secret doors.
Anything on
I mean, other than the one you
in the laboratory, in the working laboratory, that looks like it was a potion or something that was about to be completed on a certain table.
I see a bunch of
mean,
potions and beakers bubbling and...
All right, you guys are working together on this. Let's do a discern realities roll, please. You've gotten to the point where I think there's enough studying going on that we ought to have something coordinated.
Hey, my
come
first
out
good
of this.
roll, 11.
10.
This one goes to 11.
I had a 7.
7.
Wisdom.
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 Wisdom for discern realities.
8.
Okay. So let's put it this way. Each person ask a question that you think will be helpful, and I will give you the real answer, whether it be helpful or not, to this situation. I'm going to start with the person who took the step into the
What should I
into
be
the
on
abyss.
what should I be on the lookout for?
Okay. You can tell that the rope itself is starting to fade away in this place you are, and you're not sure you could find your way back on your own. So you may need them to pull you back out sooner. You might be stuck here. So you should be on the lookout for your ability to get pulled back into the normal world expiring.
Get me out of here.
Who's next?
I'd like to ask, where is the reverse aging spell hidden?
Really? It's not so much that there's a reverse aging spell, as that somebody needs to know how to reverse it, and it may be someone outside of here. The first goal is to get that curse stopped.
I want to ask who's really in control here.
That's Laramie. I'm kidding. It's not Laramie.
I knew it. I knew it.
It's his evil twin, Jeremy.
Jeremy.
Dang
it, Jeremy.
Who could really be Gerald? Oh, it all makes sense now. We're putting you in the pudding hole.
So it all makes
I said the
sense
plot
now.
thickens.
Lenore is
pudding hole.
now convinced with it, the same as what you're just saying. It all makes sense now. You hear like a whispering of Zoraika in the wind, and there's no real wind, so it's a goddess thing. But all of the pieces coming together now, and you realize that this is for sure, without a doubt, this is all a dead wizard's defenses, and there has to be a way to cut that magic off. And the person who is in control here is not necessarily a person. It is a what is in control here. And what is in control here is the lingering magic left over by one of the most powerful wizards the world has ever known.
Break the quill.
Yeah, there has to be a way to sever
That's good.
the magic he has left behind, cut it from the material world so that the material world can go on without aging further.
Get me out of here first, though.
And then there's
Well,
that.
they were
Brett,
holding
did you
on to
come
the
up
rope.
with a different question? Or we go to Laramie next? Laramie!
How about y'all pull
I
him
mean,
out of
what
the
here
hole?
is not what it appears to be.
Okay. I'm trying to find the way it's going to word it the best for me. Do you have anything, Breton, while I'm thinking about that? Or no?
No, I mean, I was going to, I guess, say what is useful or valuable to me.
Okay. Maybe I can put these together. So the useful / valuable thing, you can tell, and what is not what it appears to be. I'll kind of put them together because it'll all work the same way. The workshop is not the focus of the wizard's lingering power. It is elsewhere in this place, and you think it's most likely related to the pieces that were left behind, the magical pieces left behind in the galley, the kitchen area. We already know some of what one of those things involves, and we already also know warm pudding hole. So,
That sounds so wrong.
You come to this conclusion based on the stuff that you've learned so far, that that's the direction to go next. Plus, he wants to pull out before it's too late.
I mean, if you say something,
gotta pull out.
We'll pull you the rope.
And there's no way you don't hear him.
Yeah, it was booming.
We don't want to wait too long. 'Cause bad things
pull me
can
out
happen.
now.
All right. Yeah.
So-
So yank him out.
So you put him in there with a rope, and when you pull him out, it's like a thread remains on the rope, and that spot right where it passed the darkness plane, where things turned invisible, it was just getting smaller. And when Uriel comes out, he is also literally smaller, and you gradually start to grow. But based on how it looks, you're going to have to be out of it for the same amount of time you were in it before you're back to your normal size. So
I am talking
you
with a
are
high-pitched
literally
voice
about a third of your normal height.
Hey guys, how's
You're
it
a
going?
smaller being, and it's not just the height, but everything shrunk by about a third while you were in
Everything?
Everything
Everything.
shrunk.
Well, almost everything.
Hey.
You can't use your regular 2 legs.
It's a good thing you pulled out in time, though.
It better be like a pogo stick
Yeah.
because you're stuck now, buddy.
Where's Wendy?
So yeah, you have a mini Uriel.
Oh my. Are you okay? Do you feel okay?
How tall is he normally? Like 6 feet?
He's like 6'2".
He's a
He's a
big
big
guy.
dude. He's a big guy.
So he is literally like 3.5 feet,
Yeah.
or 3 feet 1 inch.
All right.
Oh my.
Right.
Is he younger
Right
or
now.
just
No,
smaller?
he's
just smaller. I'm just smaller.
Technically, everything shrunk a little. So the rope shrunk 2/3 of its diameter. He shrunk 2/3 of his size.
Well, I mean, I guess we got to check out the pudding door. I mean, pudding hole.
Magic always has downsides. If you're going to be, omnipotent viewing thing, then something bad happens.
Well, since you're a little bit more
guess I can fit in the pudding
small,
hole now.
you can go in the pudding hole.
Yes, you can actually fit in the
I mean, I
car.
can't
I'm
ask
checking out
you
the
to
pudding
do
hole.
it, but-
I'm doing it. I mean, I'm already in there.
But if you want to,
I mean,
We need another rope, though.
all right.
I can just ride Cloud in, right?
get a rope.
I mean, how
You
much of
probably
the
could
rope
ride
is
Cloud.
ruined? Like,
I
do
would
we
say
have
that
enough that
it'll-
we could
it'll
still-
grow.
Slowly moving back to its regular size
Yeah, so we should
for
get-
the part that's left. And it doesn't really feel like it lost any of its strength. Just like you don't feel like you lost any strength. You just feel like a portion of yourself.
Then I guess we'll just
get another rope.
leave them attached or something.
No, we'll get another rope.
You want a bonus rope?
Yes.
All right.
I want double rope.
Double rope.
I'm going to the pudding room.
We'll double rope you into the pudding room.
We'll double rope you into the pudding
I
room.
might just stick my head in there and see what's up.
Okay. Sticking just your head in doesn't seem to be far enough to do anything.
All right, I'll
It's
crawl
just-
in.
Excuse me. You go through what feels like pushing yourself through a 2-foot wall of pudding,
Does it taste good?
and on the other side, and it's kind of
taste,
like
kinda-
the clear Jello taste.
Oh, no.
Right?
I don't know what that tastes
It's
like.
there for design only. It's
Yeah.
not really a taste. It's like solid water kind of taste. Yeah, it's water flavored pudding.
Oh, awesome. My favorite.
But after 2 feet of that, it kind of opens up, and in front of you, you see a spire that looks like it stretches up to the sky about as far as you can see. Right in the center of it, maybe 10 foot off the ground, is a large purple crystal that's rotating and like thrumming with power. It is glowing.
I want to
That's
grab
why
it.
the wand got warm
I want to grab
when
it.
I.
As you're walking towards it, it's the whole nightmare thing. As you're walking towards it, it looks like it's getting farther away, and the rope keeps pulling through you guys' hand, and it's right at the end of the rope now. It's about to go through your fingers,
Stop it.
I
Pull him
would,
back.
yeah, I would stop him at least.
and you're kind of yanked like to
Dog
a
on the
stop.
end of a leash.
And looking behind you, you can see there's like 50 feet of rope behind you that leads.
But
to
that
the
thing looks
pudding
like it's
wall.
still another 50 feet away.
Yeah, you might need some help.
Hello, Uriel.
You
Can
can't
you hear
them.
me?
You can't hear them.
Uriel, are you okay?
It's me, Laramie Burnsteel.
I'll try to
Paladin.
do a blast out of my hand to fire to the crystal.
Okay. Just for ease of resolution,
All right.
it goes out there and it kind of like dissipates into a lot of little fire, which is really impressive. But it just when it reaches there, and now that you do that, it looks like it's near you again, but you still can't reach it because now the rope is holding you back. But yeah, the fire hits it, and then it's like if the fire was made of glass and it shatters into a lot of little fires, and then they all go
wow.
out. It's kind of a neat effect when that crystal blocks it. So he's been in there, and it got to the end of the rope. What do you guys want to do?
Pull him
And
back.
there's
Pull
still
him back. Pull him
tension
back.
on the rope, so it's not like the rope went slack or anything.
I mean, I feel like we just hold on to it. Like we have it held that he can't go any farther and pull it out of our hands.
Right.
But I mean, I don't think we need to pull him back quite yet if he still has tension
So
on
there's
the rope.
spire, crystal
And
spinning.
Yeah, other than that, it's just like an empty room.
Does this spire look familiar? Like I've seen it someplace before in a painting, a drawing, a book.
Yeah. Is it in a?
It looks like the entryway. When you look right up in the center of the entryway, there was purple crystal painted with like glowy lines around it. And then in the library, where there were other paintings, and in the center of the paintings, there was a purple crystal with glowy lines around it.
All right, I have an idea. Pull him back in.
All right. Would we know to
You
do
don't know
your
that, but
idea?
you can still have an idea.
I mean, I can pull him in if you
I'm
want.
gonna start walking back because I can't get to it now. And
All right, so the rope, as soon as he turns around, the rope will go a little slack, but
All right. So I
he's
pull
going
a
to
little
show
bit
up
more.
in 50 feet. It's not like it's forever anyway.
All right, my idea.
Okay, so when you come back through, by the way, you are
yeah.
a little bigger and you have to duck to get out of the
Okay.
cabinet
Gotcha.
instead of just walking through.
Now,
I explain what I seen.
okay. You tell us what you saw.
Seen what I saw.
And do you say that you recognized it from?
Yeah, I saw it in the paintings. This big spire with.
Let's try destroying the picture of the crystal and see if that might hold some sort of significance to the curse.
I mean, we could definitely
Since
do
we
that.
can't destroy the crystal itself.
Well, you don't know you can't
We
destroy
couldn't
it.
get.
We could all go in there and see what we can pull
You
out.
know that his fire didn't destroy it.
Maybe the wand.
It seems
Maybe
in
the wand.
my experience, though, if you damage wizards' things, it's bad. But we can definitely try it.
Well, it's a power source. What
Entire
if you did a
civilizations have
magic
fallen.
missile to the crystal inside the...
I mean,
If you want to put me in the pudding hole,
I'll go in there if you want.
I'll go in the pudding hole with the wand.
Cozy?
And when you were inside, the way out was clear.
Oh, okay.
So when you turned around, you could see the cupboard, and you could
So
walk
the
out.
rope wasn't necessary.
I don't know if it was.
Well, we don't know
necessary or
about
not.
that.
Well, I'll
Well,
go
I
in
do
without
know,
the
but-
rope if you want.
Yeah.
I mean, this is my thing, I guess.
You could
I'll hold the rope. And
The
you
rope's
go.
not a bad idea
You
in
could
case
tie
flying
it-
monkeys come.
I like the rope.
You could tie it to something in the kitchen too.
But you just said that the rope wasn't enough. So, I mean, if we got to get in there,
We get
like,
2 ropes, get some extra distance.
I mean,
Well-
maybe
felt-
it'll be.
I felt
just
like
as
anytime
much.
I try to get closer to the crystal, it just seems further and
I
further
don't think
away.
the distance makes a difference, is what I'm saying. Because he said every time he felt like he was getting closer, it was the same distance away. So it doesn't matter if he goes in 5 feet
So
or
who's going
50
in the
feet.
pudding room?
I'm going in the pudding room.
Anyone else?
I would like to go in the pudding room as well.
Okay.
All right.
Brett and Cloud,
I mean,
Let's all go in the pudding room.
jump in there, Kurt.
all right, let's all go in the pudding room.
You can leave Cloud out there holding the rope in her teeth.
That sounds like a plan.
Yeah.
Okay.
Stay, girl.
Sit, hold the rope.
So are we? I'm still wearing the wizard robes.
And nobody changed as
Yeah,
far as I'm
changed.
aware.
We all are.
You just went through. You have Mini Uriel with you.
Well,
I'm
he's
a little
getting
bit bigger.
he's getting
Like
better.
4 foot.
Yeah, you're probably 2/3 your size now that several minutes have passed.
5 foot nothing.
He's
100
better.
nothing.
Yeah.
He's not quite dead.
All right, so you guys go in. You see that again. It's like a stalactite that goes up, or stalagmite that goes up, and then you never see the top of it. It just goes up forever. But right in the center of that, about 10 feet off the ground, is this brilliant purple crystal with glowies all around it, and it slowly spins, and it is just thrumming with power. When you walk through, the wand just started getting warmer, and it feels like you're holding on to a spark right now. That thing is just, it's, yay.
It's
Is it
happy.
burning you?
Yeah,
It's not. It's warm
it's a happy, warm wand.
in the pudding hole.
You're in a pudding hole, yeah. Well, you're
Alright.
all there.
Now,
Is Bill
Now-
Cosby in here? Because we might
It's
have
a
to
menage a wand.
now I can sort of tell if things are evil. Does this seem evil to me, or does it just seem
No.
magical?
Nah, it's magical. It's definitely not evil.
All right.
On its own, it feels like it's a nuclear generator.
It's humming.
Yeah, but you feel the
Gotta
power.
put that control rod in there.
Yeah, you feel the power through the wand. For
Now,
sure.
if
Or
I-
at least the wand is feeling the power, and you're feeling the effect of that.
If I move towards it, does it
Yeah.
feel like I'm getting closer to the crystal, or is it?
No,
So okay.
it feels like your distance stays about 20 to 30 feet. Hard to tell because how big this thing is. That when you move closer, sure, it gets a little larger, but then you move a little closer and it doesn't get larger anymore. So you're not quite sure. There's nothing in the foreground for scale.
I want to try a magic missile
Okay,
at the crystal.
go ahead and cast it because a failure could happen, and you're all there now.
That's awesome.
Failure
10.
didn't happen. The
Failure's
magic
not an
missile
option.
approaches it, and it does very similar to what the fire did for Uriel. The magic missile hits it and kind of explodes into 1,000 little magic missiles, and each one, right before it hits the ground, just kind of fades out.
That was pretty.
You mind
It's
if I try
fireworks.
something? And I hold up my hand for the wand.
There you go.
All right. And I hold the wand and point it toward the crystal, and
As
I
soon as
say,
you have the wand in your hand, you feel that incredible surge.
Isn't
of,
that cool?
I feel
Bang.
like powerful.
Yes.
But I turn and point it at the crystal, and I'm like, deactivate. Turn off. And I go through like several different iterations of like,
Oh,
yeah.
stop.
Your existence.
yeah.
Power down.
Stop.
Power down.
Chill out.
Nothing specifically happens except you get this distinct impression that you holding the wand talking to it isn't going to do anything.
I don't think it's working.
Yeah.
Well, it's worth a shot, and I hand the wand back.
It's just to be clear, the point was no matter what you said, nothing came close to making a difference. You get this distinct impression that, no, this isn't going to do it.
Well, I mean, that's what I thought, so...
What if you throw the wand at the crystal?
What if?
Who's stronger
Well, that's more of a dexterous
or
move.
dexterous? Because I'm not.
Well, if you counted it as an attack, it's a volley, and that would be dexterity.
Would you like to volley
We
it?
wouldn't count it as an attack, but that's what it would be typically. You were trying to hit something with something else that you throw.
There
mean,
you
You
go.
don't do that?
But think about it, though. Like, as a wizard, like, why would he set up a crystal that he has to throw his own wand at? Like,
Because he's got more in his infinite closet.
I
But
mean, I
if
guess.
the wand gets its power from the crystal and it can destroy the crystal, then the other wands would be useless, wouldn't they?
What about if we destroyed the wands?
We'll just
They'll
make another
just
one.
keep making
Keep
more.
wands.
Yeah.
I could try it.
Which part?
Breaking the wand I have.
How?
Retributive
Just
strike.
try
Yeah.
cracking it.
It doesn't give under any pressure you give.
How about
apply
the
to
gold
it.
The gold is the metal, right? Or the wand is metal, right?
The whole wand has the cold feel of metal, but it looks wooden, and the top is clearly a ball of gold.
I'll use my handcrafted ability and see if I can melt the wand.
There you go. You
It's
can
an
have it.
interesting thought. Okay.
See if I can have any
Um,
effect on it.
Is that a roll?
Nope.
Okay, and what does it do? Read it.
If I'm rushing, okay, to do without time and safety might require that I defy danger.
Okay.
So I'm trying to rush. But if I'm just like slowly seeing if I can melt it, I don't know. It's your call.
I don't think there's a need to rush right
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
So you're just trying to melt it.
Yeah, or if I could bend it or manipulate it in some way. Maybe I could let it manipulate, like guide me to manipulate it into a certain shape. I don't know.
When you apply the heat to it, the feel of the wand itself doesn't change. It's still thrumming with power. It has the warm feeling to it, but it never gets any warmer. But you start to feel your hand like it's on fire, but that doesn't bother you
Right.
anymore. It's
Right.
just it's like it's reflecting, almost like what happened when she cast her light on it.
Right.
That it kind of just resists something you're trying to do to it. We're saying when you tried to snap it, bend it, it in and of itself seems to resist what you're doing. It's not that it's impervious to it. It's like it's fighting back.
I got nothing.
Any other thoughts?
Josiah, this is your servant, Laramie Burnsteel. I need a little bit of guidance here. If you could guide my way, I'd really like to continue serving you. So if you could just point me in the right direction here. I'm flailing. I need
What
help.
kind of sign do you normally get from Gojo?
Well, I have a feeling that since Josiah is very mysterious, that it's most of the time very subtle, and just sort of something that is hard to like explain to other people, but you just like get a feeling that something is maybe not right,
Okay.
or he changes something to be a little bit different than the way it was before.
Who had the journal last? Or who would have it now?
He does.
Yeah.
So, Josiah makes you turn and look at the book that Uriel is holding. Like your eyes are drawn to that book.
Gojo. And I go over to my new friend Uriel, and I'm like, can I borrow that book, please?
Hand it
Which,
over.
which I'm thinking, by the way, the book stood its normal size when you shrunk, so it was big.
Jeez. I'm riding on this thing.
Because that would be resistant to his magic.
Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, you have the book.
And I guess I would just like flip through it, and then if I didn't see like the pages didn't look different, I would try to get to it a blank page and be like,
Well, they're reading through it. There are some things towards the beginning of the book that look less like journal entries and more like instructions. And part of the beginning of the book describes how the the center of power was created, and within those pages you can actually see, and you probably get help from others reading through the book, so everyone would see it too. But you see how to reduce the power, or how to temporarily turn the power off, and you presume that it's referring to this place that you're in now. It talks about the power is protected behind the pudding wall. Right? There's instructions there on how to get through the pudding wall by making sure you're wearing a cloak, and it tells how to find the cloak and the armoire. So he's got instructions on all this stuff, so if he ever forgets it, he knows how to take care of it again. So you have the information now in the book, and it talks about using the staff and the wand, and then written out in the book is another incantation. So it looks like you would need one of the wizard staffs, the wizard wand. Of course, you need the cloak to get through, and to say the incantation there.
All right.
Want me to run back and get a?
Yeah, I was going to
staff?
hand you the book since I feel the most mystic of our party, and then I just hustle back to the portal and sort of dive through and like run across the room because I now have hope that this might be something.
Mm-hmm. So you make it there. You grab. Of course, you can grab one of each because they just show up anyway. So you can grab the staff and the wand. You head back, and from that point you can read the incantation that's in there, and it's essentially like reading out the clapper. You can clap on, clap off, and when you read the incantation holding the wand and the staff, the crystal kind of stops spinning and the glowiness fades, and at that point it's right in front of you, and it looks like a miniature model, and it's about a foot tall, and you can actually reach out and touch it, and it doesn't do anything.
Now, when you said spire before, is it like a tower in there behind it,
it's
or
more
is it
it's like a natural cave formation, like a stalagmite.
Okay.
Because it's not completely smooth and even, and then it's like in the middle of the mountain, so it's that kind of thing. But it looks now like something that was constructed, and then when it receives power, it grows. But right now, you've got it. So according to what you read in the journal, it's turned off right now.
Right.
You flip the switch, and
Feeling different?
How you feel?
You don't feel like you're aging anymore right now. There's definitely something in you that says, "Wow, I can breathe better."
I mean, that might have done it. I mean, I don't think I'm any younger, but I feel like it stopped.
Maybe it'll reverse over time.
I mean, maybe. I mean, the little person.
Are we able to
don't
take
get
this
that.
crystal? Are we able to take it with us? Or?
No, it's. I mean, it's like a model, but it's there. It's really in the center of the mountain.
Gotcha.
But it's able to be manipulated by the person who can manipulate it.
Well, we should probably get out of here before this pudding hole closes.
Right. I'm
up on
afraid
us
of
since we shut down
losing
the,
our pudding door.
Yeah.
Get out before the pudding hole closes. So you make your way back out easy enough, and any one of you could find this place again now. Once the path has been made clear to you. You are heroes after all. It won't be too hard to find. By the time you make your way back to Valshand, Laramie, you're feeling like a spry 60-year-old rather than an aging 60-year-old.
I mean,
So it's
I feel
not
better.
horrible. You definitely feel better.
Just in time for the Harvest Festival.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys make it back halfway through the first day of the Harvest Festival. You're supposed to be part of the festivities in the morning, so you actually get a chance to relax for a bit and maybe go over the day's activities.
I definitely want to show Prometheus the journal to see what we could figure out with Gerald
cool.
eventually, see what they were working on.
So if you guys are sitting around a table at the Pig
I'm gonna
at
change.
the end of the day after changing and freshening up,
Definitely keeping this cloak.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
We're gonna get that pudding off you.
It's a no. The cloak. It seems like it had some sort of significance, but I don't want to be wearing that around town.
So y'all get together at a table, or your table,
Our table.
at the end of the day, sitting around. Wendy's bringing you guys fresh bread from the day. It's a pine nut bread, and there's a nice potato chowder on the menu tonight. And the whole place is warm and comforting. And you finished up this quick adventure of the day. What's the conversation like?
I mean,
Crickets.
Well, I'd be interested in trying to help Laramie reverse the effects of the spell.
So over the course of the half day back, he hasn't changed any. There's been a significant
He doesn't
change.
seem to be
Definitely not
getting
aged
younger.
anymore.
Right, but he's not.
And internally, Laramie probably feels like, gosh, this is awesome.
I'm very relieved, and I couldn't be more appreciative that you guys turned it off, but I was a little bit hoping that I'd be back to my normal self. But, I mean, baby steps, I guess.
Baby steps or old man steps.
Are there
Old man
any
steps.
wizards in?
And Valjean?
in Valjean?
Definitely not.
So
You
maybe
guys
in
are the
Harak.
only- you guys are the only thing special in Valjean.
No, we'd probably have to go to Harak to find some wizards.
We could also research the journal to see if something
Yeah.
points us in the direction.
I mean, there's probably one of our paladin temples in Harak. So, I mean, they're usually pretty knowledgeable, especially that hidden stuff.
Yeah, and the knot cult is there too. They're all
It's
about
the
healing and
infirmary.
stuff. Yeah.
Might be able to restore some of your your youth.
I mean, I very much support that plan.
He can unold you.
Yeah. Are we gonna go to Harak?
Not yet. Maybe the next time.
Oh.
Brendan's been mostly quiet. What did he learn from this?
He's just glad that Laramie didn't die, because dying ain't much of a living, boy.
And on that note, we're going to thank our special guest, Mike. Thank you, Mike.
Yay!
And that'll wrap up this short adventure here on Adventures from the Shed. And we can all say bye-bye.
Bye.
The preceding podcast was brought to you by One Joe Young. You can find us online at adventuresfromtheshed.com.